coaches, as teachers, you have guys that are putting in all the effort to improve in a ton of areas, whether it's classroom, scheme, technique.
Taking a crazy amount of criticism for taking Shedeur off on that two-point conversion. I know we've talked about this, but I mean, it's like off the charts. Are you aware of it? Are you impervious to it? Do you block it out? Or what's your response to it?
Yeah, I mean, I think in my position, Mary Kay, you're everything you do that doesn't work will be criticized. That's the nature of this beast. Well, I'll constantly try to do what's best for the football team. Some of that, and you can grow that as well, but I do think it's always going to be a balance of giving the quarterback structure, giving him answers, giving him,
Fans are heated right now. It really feels like Kevin Stefanski is trying to grab credit for Shedeur's rise, but let's keep it real. Shedeur built this off his own grind, his own focus, and his dad pushing him nonstop to be great. That shine can't be stolen, and fans are making that loud and clear. People are watching this whole situation play out, and they are not buying Stefanski's version at all. Every time he gets asked about Shedeur, he hides behind that tired "all my rookies" line like he's scared to just say it straight. This guy is special, and that's the wild part. Everybody can see Shedeur's talent didn't pop up in 2 weeks, 3 practices, or some made-up NFL crash course. This man has been locked into football since he was young, breaking down plays, learning the game, and living it daily. He grew up around football, breathed it, studied it, and was built for this long before Cleveland ever tried to claim him. Fans feel like Stefanski is standing in someone else's glow, and it shows every single time he dodges questions about Shedeur's development. The worst part is how he acts like Shedeur cracked some secret NFL code in 3 weeks and suddenly became elite because of him. Come on, fans aren't dumb. They know Shedeur didn't just learn how to throw last month. They know he didn't wake up one day and magically turn into a top-level talent. He was already that guy. His dad, his offensive coordinators, his quarterback coaches, those are the ones who built him.
The progress that Shedeur made while he was doing those practice at the end of practice and all in the meetings with you and everything.
No, I mean, I don't think you can quantify development. With all of our players, we have a development plan that we feel strongly about. And like I think I mentioned to you guys before, what's great about our young class, Shedeur in this case, our entire rookie class, is these guys want to get better. And as coaches, as teachers, you have guys that are putting in all the effort to improve in a ton of areas, whether it's classroom, scheme, technique, footwork, hand placement, et cetera, et cetera.
Years of work, years of discipline, years of being pushed, corrected, and sharpened. Stefanski, trying to claim credit, now feels like someone walking in at the last minute and saying they cooked the whole meal. And when Stefanski says things like, "Everything I do that doesn't work will be criticized," or starts talking about easy buttons and structure, it just proves the point even more. He's talking around Shedeur, not about him. That's the problem. It sounds like a coach protecting his own image instead of lifting up the quarterback who's carrying the team's energy right now. Fans are heated because they see it clearly. Shedeur didn't sneak into Cleveland unsure of himself. He walked in polished, confident, and ready to lead. And instead of just admitting that, Stefanski keeps trying to slide himself into the story. But the world already knows who built Shedeur. The way Stefanski talks about Shedeur's progress explains exactly why fans are frustrated. He gives these long, foggy answers that say a lot without saying anything at all. He avoids breaking down what Shedeur actually brings to the field. Instead, he tries to blend him into the rookie group so he doesn't have to admit that Shedeur showed up already ahead of the curve. Stefanski keeps acting like every step forward is coming from some Browns development blueprint, like this was all drawn up after Shedeur arrived. The truth is way simpler. Shedeur came in polished, prepared, and mentally sharp because of years of work before Cleveland ever came calling. Stefanski wants it to sound like a group project, but nobody's buying that story. Fans know greatness when they see it, and they also know when credit is being dodged. The more Stefanski talks, the clearer it becomes that he's more focused on guarding his own image than spotlighting what makes Shedeur different. Instead of talking about Shedeur's natural talent, his football IQ, his calm under pressure, or how he processes the game like someone raised in film rooms, Stefanski hides behind safe words like technique and structure. It sounds like he's scared to say it out loud. Shedeur didn't just grow over the last few weeks. He arrived better than most young quarterbacks Stefanski has ever coached. Fans feel that energy. They know who's putting in the work. They know who came in years ahead of schedule. They know who's driving the excitement in Cleveland right now. And the only one refusing to say it is Stefanski. And that silence speaks louder than anything else. Listening to Stefanski talk about this feels like sitting through a lecture instead of hearing the truth everyone can already see. Shedeur didn't have some sudden breakthrough in Cleveland. He walked in already ahead of most young quarterbacks in this league. Yet Stefanski keeps recycling the same safe lines about learning systems, protections, coverages, and weekly challenges like that explains everything. What he never says is the part fans notice immediately. Shedeur processes the game faster than most quarterbacks Stefanski has ever coached. It's like he's trying to squeeze Shedeur's talent into his own system instead of admitting that this quarterback came in with years of real teaching, real football education, and real discipline long before the Browns ever drafted him.
Demonstrated such elusiveness. Can you guys add a little bit more movement into the game plan maybe than you originally intended to with him?
I think there's definitely ways to move the quarterback on schedule and part of your system, and we've certainly done some of that, and you can grow that as well. But I do think it's always going to be a balance of giving the quarterback structure, giving him answers, giving him easy buttons, if you will. But then a lot of quarterbacks around the league, and some of the great ones, you see them, their ability to make plays off schedule when, as Coach Muss would say, when the chalk runs out on the chalkboard. That's really hard. It's a hard.
Fans can feel the dodge. Shedeur didn't suddenly wake up in the spring and learn how to read defenses because of a few meetings. He arrived polished, confident, and already operating on a higher level. And the wild part is how Stefanski talks around Shedeur's raw talent by loading his answers with technical words, like that's supposed to hide the truth. He keeps talking about mastering systems and facing new defenses every week, but skips right past the fact that Shedeur adapts on the fly better than any rookie quarterback they've had in years. Then he casually mentions Shedeur doing things well off platform, like it's no big deal, when that's one of his biggest strengths. Fans know exactly what's happening here. Stefanski keeps trying to stuff Shedeur into a generic rookie box so he doesn't have to admit the obvious. Shedeur's growth isn't a product of Stefanski's coaching plan. It's a product of who Shedeur already was, a natural leader, a lifelong student of the game, a quarterback built long before Cleveland ever showed up. And no amount of fancy coach talk is going to cover that up. When Stefanski talks about Shedeur making plays off schedule, it sounds like he's almost admitting the truth, but then he waters it down fast. He starts comparing him to random quarterbacks around the league instead of just saying it straight. Yeah, Shedeur is special. Instead, he hides behind broad lines like, every quarterback does this, or that's part of the position, like that erases what people are watching. But that's just not true. Not every young quarterback can slide out of the pocket, stay calm, scan the field, and still make the right read. Not every young quarterback can turn a broken play into a real gain without panicking. Shedeur isn't just winging it. He's reading, reacting, and controlling chaos like someone who grew up studying this game inside and out. Fans see it every week, at every level, and yet Stefanski keeps trying to blend Shedeur into the crowd so he doesn't have to say the quiet part out loud. Shedeur is different. Even when Stefanski tries to praise him, it still feels like he's pulling the credit back toward his system. He talks about rhythm, timing, structure, and making it easy for the quarterback. But Shedeur's biggest strength didn't come from anything Stefanski drew up. It came from years of building instincts, sharpening his mind, and learning the game long before Cleveland ever entered the picture. That off-platform magic didn't come from this offense. That calm under pressure didn't come from a few meetings or drills. Shedeur walked in with that. And every time Stefanski frames Shedeur's talent like it's something he needs to unlock or enhance, fans hear what's really happening. He's trying to attach himself to a skill set he didn't build. Shedeur was already him before Stefanski ever showed up, and no amount of coach talk is going to change that.
Tom, and there's a lot of quarterbacks that have always made plays outside the structure of their offense from when they were young to when they get to the pros. And you never want to take that away from a player. And Shedeur has a ability to make plays off schedule. So that's something that you certainly want to promote and enhance and get the team playing to that style as well. You also want to make it easy for your quarterback when you can, and when you can get those completions on time and play within the rhythm of the offense. That makes you really difficult to defend as a quarterback. But
when Stefanski gets asked about adding more movement for Shedeur, he immediately falls back on the same textbook answers about structure and easy buttons, like he's scared to admit what everyone already sees. Shedeur moves better than anything this offense was originally built for. Instead of just saying, yeah, we should lean into his strengths more, Stefanski starts drifting into talk about systems, schedules, and balance. But fans already know the truth. Shedeur's elusiveness isn't something the Browns created, it's something he walked in with. His footwork, his vision, his ability to escape pressure. None of that came from Stefanski's system. That skill set was built through years of real training, real coaching, and real moments under pressure long before Cleveland ever called his name. Stefanski sounds like a coach trying to squeeze a superstar into a rigid plan instead of building the plan around the superstar standing right in front of him. And when he starts comparing Shedeur's off-script ability to random quarterbacks around the league, fans hear it for what it is, another dodge. That comparison is just a way to downplay how rare that skill really is. He talks like every quarterback can do what Shedeur does when a play breaks down. Then in the same breath, he admits not many people can do it. That's the contradiction. He can't even keep his own story straight. Fans see the difference clear as day. Shedeur doesn't need the system to save him half the time. He's the one saving the system. He turns broken plays into real gains. He keeps drives alive when protection collapses. He makes something happen when nothing is supposed to be there. Even when the playbook falls apart, Stefanski still tries to frame that magic as something he can balance or develop. But Shedeur is doing things coaches can't teach. And that's exactly why fans get heated every time Stefanski tries to grab even a little credit for it. And this is where the tension really starts boiling over. Because while Stefanski keeps talking about patience, process, and long-term plans, the locker room energy is already shifting. Players can feel who the real engine is. They know who brings calm when things get messy. They know who looks unfazed when the play breaks down and chaos hits. Shedeur isn't waiting on confidence to grow. He's already playing with it. He steps into the huddle like someone who belongs there. His body language says control. His decisions say trust. That's not something a coach installs in a few weeks. That's something built over years of pressure, reps, and responsibility. Fans notice how teammates respond to him, how receivers stay alive on routes, how linemen fight longer because they believe something can still happen. That belief doesn't come from a whiteboard. It comes from watching your quarterback save plays that should be dead. Meanwhile, Stefanski keeps leaning on safe language like he's afraid to acknowledge the shift happening right in front of him. He talks like Shedeur is still waiting to arrive, when in reality, he's already arrived and started changing the temperature of the entire offense. This isn't about rushing development, it's about recognizing reality. Shedeur isn't growing into the role, he's already shaping it.
When you're having conversations with him, going over, can you tell in those conversations the moment when sort of the light bulb is really sort of when it's all starting to connect with them, regardless of which rookie?
Yeah, I do think there's, to your point, there's a maturation throughout a rookie's first year, and it definitely starts in the spring and mastering the offensive system and those type of things, and then you try to start to master the defensive systems. And we've talked a lot. Each week you're going up against a completely different defense with different rules for their coverages, different pressure packages. So we have different rules in our protection. So all of that, I think, for young quarterbacks is really important to continue to develop in those regular season game plan weeks as you go. But in terms of light turning on, those type of things, I just think he's committed to.
And the more Stefanski avoids saying that out loud, the louder the disconnect feels to fans watching every snap. Because at some point, coach speak stops working. You can't lecture over momentum. You can't hide leadership behind buzzwords. And you definitely can't downplay the one player who's making everyone believe again. Shedeur isn't asking for permission to lead. He's already doing it. And Cleveland feels that shift whether Stefanski wants to say it or not. And now it's getting uncomfortable for Stefanski, because the more Shedeur keeps showing poise, control, and confidence, the harder it gets to pretend this is just another rookie story. You can only hide behind systems and structure for so long before reality takes over. Every game, Shedeur shows the same thing. Calm eyes, quick decisions, no panic when the pocket collapses. He doesn't play rushed, even when everything around him is breaking down. That's not something you teach on a Tuesday install. That's wiring. Fans see it. Analysts see it. Defenses definitely feel it. Shedeur doesn't look like someone learning how to survive in the league. He looks like someone who already understands how to manage it. And that's what makes Stefanski's careful wording stand out even more. Instead of embracing that advantage, Stefanski keeps trying to slow the conversation down. He talks like recognition is dangerous, like admitting Shedeur is ahead of schedule somehow messes up the plan. But what's really happening is the plan is being outpaced by the player. This is where fans get loud. Because when you have a quarterback who sees the field faster, adapts quicker, and commands respect naturally, you don't downplay that. You lean into it. You let him cook. Shedeur isn't waiting to be unlocked. He's not waiting for confidence to be handed to him. He's already operating like the moment belongs to him. And the longer Stefanski avoids saying that out loud, the more it feels like denial instead of strategy. Because this isn't just talent anymore. It's leadership, it's presence, it's control when everything is on the line. And no amount of polished press conference talk is going to drown out what fans are watching live every single week. Shedeur is already steering the ship. The only question left is how long Stefanski keeps pretending he's still learning how to sail. In the end, fans see straight through it. Kevin Stefanski can spin it however he wants, but he can't take credit for a superstar he didn't build. Deion Sanders shaped Shedeur long before Cleveland ever entered the picture. The tape doesn't lie. The fans know the truth, and Shedeur keeps proving it every single week. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share for more real breakdowns, and I'll see you on the next one. Do you think Stefanski is protecting his ego, or is he really unable to admit how much Deion shaped Shedeur's success?